Hi, my name is John Bandler. We're talking about speaking, presenting, and preparing to speak. These are some tips to help you improve yourself to become a better speaker and presenter, more comfortable, more confident. I'm not giving you any magic secrets, no hype, just some solid advice. So we're talking speaking, presenting, preparing. What does that mean? Well, speaking is really just presenting. We're talking about presenting and preparing to present. Which of those should I put first? Preparing. You have to prepare first, and you could say that's one of the most important parts of speaking. So I don't pretend to be an expert speaker, but I've come a long way. I know something about the topic. I've presented a lot. That's me at the RSAC Conference 2025, one of the biggest cybersecurity conferences in the country or world. That's me on New York One television news show. Now, I've taught for almost a decade. I've been interviewed for the television news a number of times, and I want to share with you what I have learned. I know about half of us consider ourselves introverts, might even call ourselves shy, and that's me too. And in school, that can mean anxiety about speaking or getting called on, and same in other parts of life. Anxiety about public speaking and presenting. Now, I have practiced so much in so many ways, and I want to share. I've testified in criminal trials as a police officer. I've been a prosecutor eliciting testimony, making opening statements, closing arguments, others speaking in court to the grand jury, and lots of other circumstances, including the classroom, news, interviews, conferences, and all of that. Each speaking engagement, each presentation is an opportunity to grow and improve. They're all a little bit different. Sometimes you can have notes, sometimes you can't have any notes, and it's all from your brain. I don't claim to be perfect or the best. I'm not, but I'm a lot better than I used to be, and I want to share some of what I have learned. And the key to better speaking is preparation and practice. For each speaking or presentation engagement, you need to prepare, and each time you prepare, each time you deliver, that's practice. That helps you get better. And most of speaking is in the preparation. Preparation is key, and that means you need to plan. And that plan includes your research, what you're going to say, how you're going to say it. And that research is important. For some of us, research is a dreaded word, but research is the same as investigation. It's an important life skill. We need it for everything we do, including speaking. We want to organize our points, organize what we want to say, and that is a process. It doesn't come easy. We want to write. Most of us can organize our thoughts better by writing. Even if you're not going to read from your writing or use it for your notes, the writing helps. Now, again, everybody's different. For me, my speaking preparation includes a lot of writing. We want to rehearse and practice, including perhaps certain words or phrases or sentences, the whole thing to see about timing, although you can get a rough idea of how many words per minute you can speak comfortably. When you do this, you're going to need periods of focus where your brain concentrates on this task of preparation, planning, research, rehearsing. But then you also need to step away from it, allow your brain to think on it, then return to it. And probably more organizing and writing. Remember that a little stress is good. It helps us focus. That's a natural body instinct and reaction to prepare us and get our mind and body ready for things. A little stress is good, but too much stress is bad. So don't overstress. Be confident, believe in yourself, but don't be overconfident. And put in effort and just do your best. After your preparation, it's time to do it. We need to present and speak. First tip is be on time. If you're late, you can't speak. If you're rushed and harried, it's not going to be a good experience. So be on time. Relax your mind and body. Breathe. I used to say take deep breaths, but don't overdo it. Breathe. Get that air in and out. Have confidence. It's in your brain. I know there's a tendency to worry we'll forget about it, but you got to keep yourself calm. Have some confidence in yourself and just do your best. Give it your best effort. Do the best you can. Don't hold yourself to a standard of perfection. It's not possible to be perfect. You're going to forget some things. It's not going to be perfect. You have to accept this and just tell yourself you've got this. Listen to the questions, listen to what's happening, speak clearly, try to make eye contact with your audience, keep your cool, be calm, and use your notes appropriately. That's going to be different in different circumstances. Sometimes you might have the luxury of being able to refer to them repeatedly, so you could potentially do it almost word for word or see your outline. Sometimes, like in some of my news interviews you saw, you don't have any notes and it's got to be in your brain, and you got to have some confidence in yourself that it will be there and you will be able to get the words out. Here are some things people say or ask. Common one is, speaking and presenting gives me so much anxiety. I hate it. Now, I know where you're coming from. You need to know you are not alone, and it's okay to feel that way. But try not to hate it. Try to accept where you are now. Don't tell yourself you suck at it. Just tell yourself, I can get better at it. Try to accept where you are now. Realize you can improve. You can get more comfortable. It can happen. Some people say, I love to speak in front of people. It's easy. Now that's great, but also don't be overconfident, and you should still be preparing. Speaking should not be easy because you should be putting in that effort, which is hard, to make sure you're giving a well-researched, well-thought-out talk. How much preparation should I do? Now, that's a great question, but it totally depends on how much time you have. Now, zero preparation is usually not enough. If it's part of your job or your schoolwork, you're in college or high school or graduate school or law school, and you're supposed to be giving that presentation or preparing for that talk, you should be putting some time and effort into that preparation, so a reasonable amount of time. Now, sometimes some people, some circumstances, we over-prepare. Sometimes people under-prepare. Now, I might say I used to over-prepare, or other people might say it. I used to write out almost every single word. That was my way of getting my thoughts down, making sure I wasn't missing anything. I'd prepare long in advance and I could return to it and add to things. And it would help me because it meant I had a written record to use for the next time. Especially as a prosecutor, you do the grand jury presentation 1 week, and months later you might be preparing for trial. That work you put into the grand jury presentation and wrote down helps you later. As a prosecutor, you might have to answer ready for trial multiple times. So each time you return to it to write and add to it, it helped you for the next time for when it might eventually go to trial. When I was building my first online course, I prepared a lot, but eventually I realized I would never get it all done at that rate. I needed to speed it up. So sometimes if we're over preparing, circumstances or other factors tell us we need to just get more comfortable at doing it more quickly. I'm not saying rush it, but sometimes if you're over preparing, you got to find a way to trim it down. Another question, should I write out every word? Now again, that depends. How long a talk is it? How important? What tolerance is there for error? Now, if you're given a strict deadline, say of 3 minutes to give a presentation, and it's got to be important, every word tight, you might say, I have to write it down so I can polish it, make sure I say what I need to say in that deadline. When I was a prosecutor, certain things, there was zero room for error or no room for a slip of the word, which could mean that the case gets dismissed or that you forget something that results in bad consequences. So as a prosecutor, I wrote every word of everything, or what I intended. And then when I was up there, I had it as a guide, but I could diverge from it a little bit. I wouldn't be lockstep into it. And you never want to be lockstep in what you wrote either. You need that freedom to diverge from it when you need to. Now, there's a lot of times I write a lot of notes of what I want to say, but like you saw in some of those news interviews, there's no opportunity to have notes or refer to them. So I've written out notes and thoughts, but once you're up there, it's just you and your brain, and you got to do the best you can. Same for conferences, same for a lot of teaching I do. Should I memorize every word? Now, usually that's impossible. Unless you are a trained actor, it's impossible to memorize so much. Now, it is good perhaps to memorize your opening sentence or closing sentence or certain important phrases, but generally I would say no. Speaking is not about memorizing words, but letting it flow from your brain and improving how that happens each time you speak. If you have a question or a comment, please let me know. Use the comments or find another way to reach me. And let me just back up to should I memorize. Your first sentences, it's nice to have them memorized so that you get them out, you get rolling, you get started, and you can make eye contact. And the last sentence also good that you can make effective eye contact when you close. But otherwise, like I said, sometimes you got to just go with the flow. Wrapping this up with key points, presenting and speaking are important skills in life. Even if you think you're not good at it, even if you think you hate it, you can do it. You can improve how you do it. No matter where you are today, you can improve. Preparation is key. Practice is key. You don't have to be perfect. Just do your best. And every time you prepare and speak, that's your opportunity to improve. If you want a deeper understanding, see my additional resources. Check out the description. See my other materials. Thanks for listening. Take care.